Italian race day, and here's Sammy to start it off on the Guzzi 500 bi-cylindrical. He's just about to get a push and put his cycling clip-ons on.
Got to take that jacket off.
Quite out of the museum because we only made for the Imola and Daytona races. Still raced many world championships to Yamaha, and we'll just have a quick. What do you think of the 16 valve MV 750?
Well, give me a few straights and circuits.
Yeah, well, we'll have to get the circuit extended for next year. Probably will run right through that far paddock up to the pylon and back again, so the donations will be happily received. Reedy's going to give me the first donation for the Grand Prix circuit. Yeah. Freebrook, wonderful. So, what do you think of this? Happy memories from the MV days?
Can I tell you about this machine? That I tested it for Agostini at the Mazzano circuit with a chain drive and a shaft drive, but they wouldn't allow it to be run at the Imola 200 with the chain drive, so he had to fit the shaft drive, and he was leading the bloody race. I mean, this is a monster machine. This was against the John Player Nortons and the new Ducati 750 Desmos, and it broke, the engine broke, and he retired, but it was a magic effort, and I have every admiration for Giacomo Agostini, although I later beat him. Okay, thanks very much.
Well, it's good to know, Phil, you're reunited with your old 750. Great to have you down at Bashley Manor, and we're now starting number 2, Aeromacchi 250. John Diner. So if you'd like to follow up your 250 Aeromacchi.
So how was that for you, Sam?
Just a quickie. Viv, could you get Phil Reid to come over and have a few words with the people? Bob, couldn't you ask John to fire up his 4-cylinder Benelli? Give it a run round. John Ring, 4-cylinder Benelli. No, there's 20 gallons in the workshop. What an excuse. Don't think you're going to get away with that, boy?
And come to Sammy's Italian Day and say you haven't got any fuel.
Right, okay. Anyway, it'll be, this is I call it the ultimate classic, the V8 Motor Guzzi, 8-cylinder, and they were only really developing it in 57, and it was starting to win races. Bill Lomas, Dickie Dale, Ken Kavanagh, and then, unfortunately, as I said earlier, in 58, Motor Guzzi, Mondial, Gillier all decided to pull out of racing, too expensive, and that left one factory, left MV and private Norton. So if you were a John Surtees with a Works MV against a load of private Nortons, it was quite a easy race for you. This has got a full fairing. These were banned in 57 also, the full fairing. They were so dangerous. They give you a lot of extra speed, probably 30, 40 miles an hour. This was timed at the Belgium Grand Prix at 179 miles an hour. So 79 or 57 and 50 odd years later, they only got 20 mile an hour quicker. So 50 years development, they're only 20 mile an hour quicker than this, which is to say a lot for this bike. The reason why the fairings were banned, because if you're riding in wind, you literally get blown about all over the place, and some riders were actually blown off the road. And I must admit, I've had a few near shaves myself with the NSU and the Mondial, where if you were riding in the northwest, you set off on the left, right-hand gutter on exposed bits of the road, and you're literally blown across at like 140 miles an hour to end up in the gutter on the left. Come in, Phil. What did you think of full fairing bikes?
Well, in my early days, as I was a bit short of cash, I built a full, all of those. Well, I thought they were fantastic because they gave another 2, 3, 4 miles an hour and gave you good protection. And also when you crashed, it stopped wiping the handlebars and the levers off. That was really good. But I remember going to my first ever TT, and it was the Golden Jubilee TT in 1957, and it was an 8-lap senior. I know I was watching at the bottom of Bagara, and Bob McIntyre and Bob Brown came through on the Gilleras, and who was riding this then?
That would mean Dickie Dale and Bill Lomas.
Oh, Bill Lomas, yeah. I mean, it was terrific. I mean, when it was firing on all 8 cylinders, it was really terrific. But that was a problem with this. They couldn't keep it running on 8 cylinders. But
that's because it had 8 sets of points, revving at 15,000 RPM. So can you imagine 8 sets of points leaving about at 15,000 RPM? But this has been updated to electronic ignition system, automatic advance fill, so it can start, no trouble. The advances up about 25 degrees at 2,000 RPM, so it makes it much more tractable. So when you drop down, the ignition goes onto retard system, as it were, and then when you accelerate, you go up onto advanced system. So transforms the bike, and also you see if you've got a bad spark, then your carburation must be perfect, because if you're not burning the fuel, you start gassing up on your cylinders. But if you've got electronic, fantastic ignition system, if the carburation's slightly out, it don't matter, because the spark is so good it burns the fuel.
well, yeah, that's right. They could have done with this system, what was it, 40 years ago, and then they'd have been real world beaters. But yeah, I was saying before I was interrupted, watching at Bagara, and that's a fast downhill left-hand king. And Bob Mack and Bob Brown came through, and the Dickie Dale on this is incredible. And then John Surtees came through on the 500 MV Augusta. On the first lap, he was so frightening that every lap after that, when the spectators heard him coming, they leapt off the bank and hid behind trees. But also I watched on the that year they had a 125 and 250 races which they held on the Clips course. I was watching there just before, what was it? No, after that, Governor's Bridge. That's right, tricky section there on the bank just before that. I watched this brilliant young Irish rider leading the 250 race, and on the last lap he got about 10 seconds lead and he dropped it, and that was young Sammy Miller. The only chance to win a TT.
I remember it well. Still got the battle scars, but great to have you here, Phil. And John Ring is going to run his, he's been working on this 4-cylinder Benelli since ever, you know. Changing cranks, changing pistons, changing carburation and ignition systems, so he's going to give it a bit of an airing around here. Go on then, Jonathan, fire it up. You won't be going quick enough for a helmet. First gear, full rattle, 12,000. The Benelli are a fantastic race with Favini. They won world championships, 4-cylinder. Did you ever race Benelli, Phil?
Yeah, unfortunately I was asked to ride Benelli in the TT to help Kel Carruthers, and the bike I was on was not particularly competitive. On the second lap going down Solby Straight, the team manager held my signal board out and all the numbers dropped out on the road. I thought, maybe it was like it. Then they wouldn't pay me because they said I'd blew the engine up.
Oh, John, you've let us down.
Back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board.
You'll have to hear it in the afternoon run. So anyway, that's this morning's run done. So if you want to go over and see Phil with his books and all his gear. Who? Oh, we've got one more. Paul, can you fire it up? Yeah.
I baked them up.
Aramaki, a great company, and we've got few racing examples. This is a road example, 250. A bit quieter than Reedy on his MV. Anyway, thanks Phil for coming. You're out again shortly on the Gilera, so get your gear ready. This is a wonderful little Aramaki 250. They made 350s, and of course in the museum we've got the Linto, which was two Aramakis put together, two 250s, made a wonderful 500, and very successful in Grand Prix. Didn't win the World Championship, but wonderful effort. Thank you very much, John. Great job. popular bike, lots of scooters, lots of road bikes and racers too. The centre of gravity is very low, as you can see. The engine's gearbox line very low. All helps the handling, so wonderful little bike. Thank you. Probably about 1939 to late motor effects. And of course the Guzzi layout, the engine line flat and the blade is both the handling. And the great Stanley Woods racing with great success. Ovo Tenny, all the Italians. Italian factories decided that thank you, Gordon. Lovely to hear Don Delino running. I was just about to say that they finished racing in '57 when they had the V8 running, and it did affect me too, because I was a works Ducati rider, and Ducati, Mondial and Motor Guzzi Gilera all pulled out together because of the cost, so it left a big hole in the racing field. It was all privateers. Lighter than anybody else, so they seem to throw a bit of weight and angle the success. Of course, Ducati won the Imola 200-mile race. They won a 200-mile race with small swamp and wonderful racing factor, racing thing. And of course, it's still in the MotoGP. Carl Crutchlow having a battle with him. Hard bike to ride. Valentino Rossi couldn't ride it.